Coming this holiday season, a gift from the Sierra family to your family. The first in a new fully animated adventure game series, Torin's Passage. Combining the hand-drawn classic animation of King's Quest VII and the humor of Al Lowe, Sierra takes you to new levels of entertainment. Explore worlds within worlds, filled with magic, fascinating new characters.
Google, can you be an axe?
And fun.
Not X, axe.
Where anything is possible. You and your buddy, Boogle, must rescue your parents from the evil sorceress, Licensure. And her able assistant, Dream. Match wits with the diabolical Peckett. And discover the lovely Lena. Plus much more.
Absurd and absurd.
To make you and your child
All right!
laugh out loud. Enchant your family this holiday season with Torin's Passage.
The MS-DOS age, where I technically started aside from arcade machines. I started off playing games on a computer. I originally had a Windows 3.0. I also went through the dread of Windows 95 and 98, even had a Vista, all of that. I've had every single version of Windows you could think of. I even used to use Linux at one point. I'm not a fan of Macintosh, I'm sorry guys. When I think of MS-DOS, I think of many plethoras of games that I've played in the past. You know, from Maniac Mansion, which one day I will actually talk about that game, to Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis from LucasArts Films, which that right there is a great game in my opinion. There was even different types of other games that I've played, to even, you know, just different kinds, like for example Blade Runner. Blade Runner was a MS-DOS game that I played at one point, which all of those games I'll probably talk about them one day. But one gaming company that I most definitely remember is Sierra Games. Sierra Games was owned by Al Lowe. When people think of Al Lowe, they think of the Leisure Suit Larry games. They think of different types of games that was made by Al Lowe. A lot of them were sexually based, I guess you could say. But when I think of Al Lowe, I think about my favorite Sierra game. What's my favorite Sierra game? My favorite Sierra game is Torin's Passage. Torin's Passage, one of those hidden gems and games that's not really talked about these days. Because, simply put, it was the oddball of the Sierra Games gaming series that came out. Because there was only one game of it, and they tried to tease a sequel, but it just didn't happen. But Torin's Passage, I believe, would be the only Sierra game that was actually targeted to a child audience, or adolescent audience. Of course, the game was point and click, and you're following along the adventures of Torin Farman. Yeah, I'm not joking. His last name is Farman. And his pet, Boogle, which is a animal with unique powers, I guess you could say. He can morph into any type of object he sees fit. And in a nutshell, Torin's Passage is basically an adventure game where you're going to try and save your parents because they were kidnapped by a sorceress by the name of Licensure. But of course, this wouldn't be a review if I didn't show any gameplay, of course, right? So, everyone, sit back, get your favorite drinking beverage, get your favorite snacking item, and we're going to dive right on in to Torin's Passage, made by Al Lowe and published by Sierra Games. So, let's dive right on in.
The story of Torin's Passage focuses on a young farm boy named Torin Farman. Yeah, Farman, who lives on the world of Strata. His life is then tossed into disarray when his caring parents are whisked away by the evil sorceress Licentia, causing him to set off on an adventure to find them. Torin's unique world consists of several realms, nestled within the planet's crust. He lives on the surface, of course, which is known as the lands above. As you go further underground, you venture through new realms, each with its own theme, and its own group of interesting people that you come across. Each trip brings him closer to Licentia, who has been banished to the core of the planet in a place known as the Null Void. Torin is joined, of course, by Boogle, a goofy sidekick, if you can say it like that. As is typical of these types of sidekicks, he walks the thin line between cute and, I'd have to say, obnoxious. He can't talk, but instead he can shapeshift into various items that not only he comes across, but even you. The adventure gets off to a good start, taking place in the lands above, which seems stuck in a perpetual twilight, but is no less gorgeous because of it. I absolutely love the artwork of Crystal City in particular when I was a little kid. I highly recommend people to go to Google Images and look up Torin's Passage Crystal City. I highly recommend it, actually, because I think you'll absolutely love it. But after the lands above, you end up going into Chapter 2, which is called Escarpa. Escarpa seems to take inspiration from American Indians, as the residents have their homes built in the side of a gigantic canyon, which is very interesting. But then after you are done with Escarpa, you go to Chapter 3, Chapter 3 being Pergola. Pergola is a forest where Torin ends up getting captured by a race of tiny people, and it is considered the shortest level in the game, but Pergola focuses entirely on solving little puzzles by moving around little people and doing song-based type puzzles. I wasn't much of a fan of Pergola, but I'm glad it was a really short level. Then after Pergola is considered my favorite level in the game, also known as Chapter 4, Esthenia. Esthenia is the fourth layer of strata, and is literally a barren world devoid of any human or sentient life. The entire world of Esthenia is covered in lava and made up of complex mazes. There are some signs of a past civilization, such as derelict machinery and abandoned houses. Esthenia also has the most puzzles out of any world in the game. It is composed technically of 2 mazes, 2 ways to die, and 2 puzzles. But in the end, the artwork is absolutely amazing, and the experience in Esthenia is one that you'll never forget. Now you've reached Tenebris, the place where you've wanted to go, the place you've ranted about. And now that you're there, can you get to your parents? Can you save them? Can you go and deal with Licentia? Can you get there with Boogle? Well, this is where the game takes an interesting turn. Because, well, in a nutshell, Boogle ends up getting kidnapped by Dreep. Dreep is the pet that belongs to Licentia. And throughout the whole time when you're in Tenebris, you're doing things a more manual way. A manual way as in you're collecting more items than you would have anticipated now that Boogle is gone, because you're in Tenebris by yourself. You don't have Boogle to help you right now. So this is where a lot of the work in the game comes into play. This is where a lot of the thinking comes into play as well. Can you get to the Null Void? Can you find Licentia? Can you find a way to battle her to get your parents back, and then get yourself safely back to the lands above? What Torin doesn't know is that he's actually the son of the King and Queen of Strata, who were murdered when he was just a mere baby. Purportedly, their deaths took place at the hands of Licentia, who was actually their nanny, and her banishment to the planet's core was a result of those misdeeds. However, Licentia isn't quite as evil as her initial appearance may suggest. Her story is told through flashbacks in between the chapters, which reveals she actually rescued Torin from being killed as well, and she was simply used as a scapegoat for the death of the royal family. Now, do I recommend Torin's Passage to be played by people in this day and age? Yes, I do, and I'm going to tell you why. For one, when it comes to any game that's made by Sierra, it's always well known, it's always treasured, it's always remembered. When it comes to Torin's Passage, a lot of people do not remember this game even being made. Because simply, when you think of Sierra and you think of Allo, you think of King's Quest, you think of Leisure Suit Larry, you think of games like that. Torin's Passage was that game where it happened, and you either don't remember the game, or you do remember the game. And if you do remember the game, you either think that it's so-so, or it's the greatest thing you've ever played. I'm in the group of people where I think it's the greatest thing I've ever played. Because, well, I grew up on King's Quest. I even grew up on Leisure Suit Larry. God forbid I even think of some of the stuff that I had to deal with when it came to Leisure Suit Larry. But when it came to Torin's Passage, it was a game that touched my soul as a kid. And combined with the references to the little Easter eggs that are in there, the ways of breaking the fourth wall, it's a really nice title. You know, is it the greatest Sierra game ever created? Of course not. You know, as people may know, that title would probably go to either the King's Quest series or the Leisure Suit Larry series. But does that mean that Torin's Passage is a bad game? No, it's not. Is it a neutral game? To some, yes. Is it a game that's forgotten? Yes, it is. A lot of people do not remember this game being created by Allo. A lot of people don't. Like, seriously, a lot of people do not. So if you ever find a way to play this game on DOSBox or on a virtual machine, play it. You know, even if you don't know what you're doing, at least give it a shot. Bring in those atmospheres from the game into your life. Go and experience it for yourself. That's all I'll say when it comes to that.
So everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, click that like button. Leave a nice positive comment down below. Let me know if you've played any point-and-click games in your life. If you have, what's your favorite one? And why is it your favorite? And what company is it from? I'd like to know. I always try to answer everybody's comments down below. So please, share with me your past, ladies and gentlemen. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm your friendly neighborhood gaming machine, and I'll see you next time.
From out of the bushes, tiny scorecards appear. 59, 59, 60, 58, and a 35. Huh. Looks like the Eastern European rabbit is judging again.
This ladder looks a little rickety, but I'm going to try it anyway.
You've discovered the fast way to get to the lands below. Way to go, honored. But a fiery melting death is not a good ending for you in this game.
Congratulations, you did it! That's nice to see someone else has an Allo sense of humor. That's why you get to hear this, my very own personal Easter egg, instead of the boring plain old death message you see before you there on the screen. Anybody who comes all the way through this game asking everybody you meet about this evil sorceress named Licentia and then finally finds her and then tricks Dreep into following a recording of her voice and then doesn't use the Book of Magic on her, but instead plays the bagpipes, deserves much more than just another boring old death message. So here's my personal thank you for playing the game. And now, enjoy the ending. But whatever you do, don't tell anybody how you got this message. Instead, just taunt them with, "Why, I got a personal message from Al Lowe at the end. Didn't you?"